Welcome back. I'm off by one, and this is Create Astral. Hey everyone, I'm sorry that it's been so long between episode 1 and 2. I was cleaning up some old videos and I accidentally deleted more than I should. I debated rolling back the save and continuing from closer to where we left off in episode 1. However, I did a lot of off-camera work, and frankly, I don't fancy doing all that caving again. On the plus side, that means for this episode we get to jump ahead to some of the fun stuff, automation through contraptions. But first, I'll do a quick run through of where we got to in chapter 1. So we left off our previous episode at the Andesite compound creation. If I remember correctly, we were showing off that to get andesite alloy, you have to make this andesite compound first, which is created with 3 andesite blocks, 3 nuggets of your choice, and 3 clay balls. Thankfully, the recipe now includes tin and zinc. When I first played this mod pack, I'm pretty sure it was only iron that you could use for it, which can be quite expensive early game when you're trying to save as much iron as possible. This andesite compound can then be smelted to make andesite alloy. So it is really expensive to start off with. The other side of this questline is bronze. Now, bronze is used to make quite a few things, actually. So it's used to make some of the tools, so like the wrench from Tech Reborn, which is used to pick up our crude storage units and things like that without destroying the inventory. It's also used to make bronze sheets, as you might expect, but these bronze sheets are used in a lot of places. So they're used in smart pipes, they're used in display links, oxygen tanks, but most importantly to us at this stage, they're used in cogs. So the small cogwheel recipe has changed. You get 1 andesite alloy, 1 bronze sheet. That gives you 3 cogwheels, not the standard andesite shaft and wood, because these cogwheels are now more like bronze cogwheels rather than wooden cogwheels. To get a big cogwheel, it then takes you 2 smaller cogwheels and a bronze sheet. So quite expensive for the cogwheels, at least at this stage. With our cogwheels created, we were able to move on to the andesite edge, which we used the log that was in the corner here for our first andesite casing. And from that, we branched out and built a gearbox because the reward for gearboxes was pretty solid. I think it gave either 4 or 8 from this single gearbox. Mechanical press, there's one just out there that I'll show in a moment. That gave us our 10 iron sheets challenge, which in turn rewarded us with ham and andesite casings. And from there, we got all the sort of basic things that you need. So our encased fan for automated smelting. Again, I'll show you outside in a moment. The mechanical saw for our first rubber farm. Mechanical mixer, which we actually need to create grout. Mechanical drills for mining and andesite automation at this point earlier in the game. And also a nice way to get diamonds, which I was able to get, though not from mining. That was from a pirate ship that I found off the shore. But again, we'll get to that in a moment. So for getting grout, the recipe is actually really kind of expensive compared to what we might be used to. You need 1 andesite alloy, 1 zinc, and then 8 gravel. Now, very not so fun thing to find out. If you spend a lot of time harvesting gravel, if you put gravel straight into the mechanical mixer, it'll actually give you flint as an output, or at least it did when I first tried this. I don't know if the recipe's been updated. So make sure you put the andesite alloy and the zinc ingot in first before adding the gravel, as otherwise you might not receive what you were expecting. From our grout, we were then able to get into the start of chapter 2. So seared bricks are still the same, created by smelting grout. We were able to use bulk blasting with the automated smelting station that we created outside. And that gave us the bricks that we needed for our seared heaters, which has some nice rewards to get us kicked off, and our seared faucet, which provided us a really convenient way to kick off our andesite automation. Now, I didn't really move on from here all that much. Mostly spent the time between last episode and this one doing a lot of mining and a lot of exploration. So if I open up the map, you'll see I've explored quite a bit. You can see we've got not just one ocean monument nearby, but 3. There's actually a tiny little mushroom island up here. I checked around the area. It's the only mushroom island. There's nothing else around that. That's it. And if you can see all these little blue squares dotted around the map, these are like underwater ruins of some sort, and they all contained lots of goodies. Not super rare stuff, but anvils, some iron, some basic enchanting things like books, and then this pirate ship up here is like a pillager pirate ship, and I might have some footage on the screen to show of that. Got lots of nice stuff from there, and probably the most important thing that I picked up, aside from the guns, which are just retextured crossbows, was the ice, because the ice is going to help us a lot with our obsidian automation, but I'll come to that in just a bit. There's also some goodies here. This was a villager shipping fleet. I think this was actually where we picked up that single diamond that got us the diamond quest completion, which I have used on my pick. So in terms of the contraptions that I built, I'll give you a quick run through of some of the simple ones outside. And thankfully I do have some of the footage from the last episode, or some of the footage from episode 2, or the original recording of episode 2, that I can show, that'll play in just a moment. I just want to start us off with the mechanical press setup, a single water wheel powering that, and the smelter outside. I also have my basin set up here with my mechanical mixer above, a faucet that can be powered with this lever here, with a casting table beneath it, and this is where I'm automating my andesite alloy. So you throw in your andesite ingredients, and this gives you basically triple the yield of the andesite compound. So if I do, I think it's compound fluid they called it. Compound fluid, that's the one there. So you can see 1 andesite, 1 iron nugget, 1 clay ball, and that gives you enough to make 1 ingot, as opposed to needing 3 of these. So yeah, quite a bit better, definitely the way to go. And that's set up like that. We'll probably move this to something more permanent. If not this episode, the next episode, because this is really just a very simple starter setup. This was originally 2 separate lines. I needed slightly more power because I didn't account for the cogs drawing power. So this is really messy at the moment, but we'll again clean that up later. This was my basic seared melter setup, and I also have a gravel automation set up on the go as well. You can see I've got some sap from some rubber trees that I harvested over there too. Okay, so that's a quick catch up of where we got to. As I said, I'm going to show you some of the footage that I have, particularly on the andesite automation. So I'll be back in just a moment. So without further ado, here we go. Having it do one at a time is it's okay, frankly, but we could do a lot better with it. What I'm going to do is add an additional 4 drills, even though we've only got an additional 2 double compressed andesite at the moment. And when we get that third one, or fourth one rather, we'll just replace whatever block I put here. Now I'm not entirely sure that the design I have in mind is going to work for this, but I'm thinking that if I use a nozzle on the fan and have the fan above this here, then I should be able to pull from all 4 directions rather than using one fan per side. So for that, I'm going to need to create a fan nozzle. I think it's just wool and andesite, but I'll double check here. So nozzle, yeah, so it's 4 andesite alloy and 1 wool. Do we have andesite alloy? Oh, we've got 4 exactly, well that was lucky. And 1 wool. Pop that in here. There we go. Do we have the fan already? Oh, we can get the fan. That's already there. Of course. And the other thing I'm going to do is swap this from being a vertical water wheel to a horizontal water wheel. Now, I've got the goggles on. You can see right now that's going at producing 256 stress units. And that's because there's a... must be a block that's... yeah, well, actually, no, it should be producing even water. I'm not sure what the difference is. But anyway, I noticed that one of these water wheels on the ground produces 320 stress units. I would have thought the flowing water would have produced more, and this does functionally travel the sort of same distance. It's just using the lowest block rather than midsection block, but that's quite a few extra stress units, and that would be enough to power 4 drills with 2 water wheels as opposed to 4 drills with 3 water wheels. So that's one change I'm going to make. And we can just shift click with our gear shift to pick the, not gear shift, shift click with our wrench to pick these up, which is nice and simple. Get rid of those ones now. No longer need that there, no longer need our fan here, but we will need to move the fan over. So I'm going to start off by, let's place the drills that we need first. So we're going to have a drill here, and another one here. Our final one will be over here, but we don't have the stuff for that side yet. And I will need to be able to see in to place the nozzle. Although actually, if I place it, I can always just break it again. Let's do that real quick. So, oh, not that way. Shift click. There we go. And our fan will be 1 block above these, I think. Okay, so we will need our fan to be running at a higher speed than our drills, so that it can pull the items in sufficiently before they get trapped in the lava. So let's place our fan there like that. And then above this, we're going to need to run a small cog to power the fan. Running off this, we need a big cog. Actually power it. And then we'll need another cogwheel, but we'll need one running at different speeds. So let's get rid of that for now. Go up, or a different direction rather. Go up 1. And then let's place our main set cogs here like so. And above this is going to be our first water wheel. So we'll place that there. And this will be running clockwise, but then running into this anti-clockwise. Then go clockwise again. So clockwise, anti-clockwise, Wait, is that set up clockwise? Yeah, clockwise, and anti-clockwise, back to clockwise, back to anti-clockwise. So in theory, we should just need to place another cog up here, like so. And then for this one here, we need to get power from this one, but this will be traveling a different direction to this. So we need to encase this one, I think. Let's encase that, and then place another cogwheel off there. And then we'll just need one higher, but it's nighttime, so I'm going to go sleep. Actually, if I build this out of casings, then I can really quickly pick it up again. So, yep, our shaft, and then our water wheel, and this is traveling the right way. It's different to the one below it. That's going clockwise. This one needs to go clockwise as well. Currently set to anti-clockwise. There we go, that's fixed. And I think it'd be quite nice if I made some sort of tower structure out of this. So let's build something around this. Okay, don't have enough anymore. Let's switch to smooth stone. Okay, so that's the andesite generator done for now, at least until we move on to something more sophisticated. But given we were only using 2 water wheels for this, I think having 4 andesite drilling stations is pretty good, without using contraptions anyway. As you can see, we're getting plenty of cobblestone at the bottom. This one's just falling straight through because I'm a block beneath it. But once we have sufficient andesite, I'll swap that out for something real. In the end, I ended up using a andesite casing to split the lower cogwheel from the upper cogwheel. That allows it to, as you can see, travel A in sort of 2 different directions, but B at different speeds. Both of which are important for this, as we need the fan to be able to pull the items out of the way of the next block forming, otherwise it might get pushed into the lava. As you can see, this is steadily filling up, and we're only losing a couple of items here and there. Mostly because this one doesn't have a andesite, compressed andesite block beneath it, so these ones are just falling straight down. I will just put a bit of temporary dye right there to stop that. But yeah, this is filling up nicely. Hey, back to the future. So for the rest of this episode, I was thinking we could look at automating obsidian. Why obsidian, you might be asking? Well, for sturdy sheets, which we'll need for A, trains, and B, all the space stuff, sturdy sheets are a key component. Now there's 2 recipes we can follow for sturdy sheets, and none of them are this one. We can either use powdered obsidian and put it through a mechanical press 10 times, which is rather a lot, but I'm sure we can set up a loop or something, and that gives us a 60% chance of creating a sturdy sheet. The rest of the time you just get random crap, usually gravel, actually, which isn't very fair, but it's what it is. The other one is using lava. Now we do have some lava at the moment, and this would guarantee us a 100% chance of a sturdy sheet. However, we still need to do this 5 times. So we could very quickly get through our lava reserves. Now, this one might be more attractive if we only had a limited supply of obsidian, or we were worried about how long it took to create. However, if we automate obsidian, then this recipe isn't needed quite so much anymore, unless our demand for sturdy sheets somehow outweighs the 60% returns that we can get using the other. So for now, I think we'll go for this route, and we can always upgrade it in the future. But to even get here, we need a way to get our powdered obsidian in the first place. To get that, we need to automate our obsidian. Now, to automate obsidian, we've got really only a couple of choices. We can automate lava production using a dripstone lava farm. But the problem with that is it'll take ages. We will be waiting for the dripstone drippers to fill up a cauldron. The cauldrons will take, is it 7 iron each? 7 iron ingots each. So they're pretty expensive at this phase of the game. And we're going to need a lot of them to keep up with the lava demands. So that route isn't very cost effective. The other route that we can follow is with basalt and washing. So magma blocks can be washed or bulk washed into obsidian, and you can make magma blocks not just from magma cream, but from pouring magma, which you get from magma blocks themselves, over polished basalt. And you get polished basalt itself from 4 basalt. And basalt, if you missed earlier, we can create with a cobblestone type setup using the blue ice that we picked up from the pirate ship up here. So, quite a few steps in this process, but there's one part of it we can definitely get done today, which is the basalt generation. So, if my editing skills are anything to go by, you should have just seen me finish up this mighty contraption here. This was our andesite drill. Still haven't... Oh wait, I have. Ah yes, okay. Forgot about that. I have now replaced the double compressed andesite, or the diorite there, with double compressed andesite. I'd also built a couple of other contraptions that you might have spotted in the background earlier when I was walking around, but you certainly wouldn't have seen it in the edited video. These are just your standard, simple wheat farm, 2 harvesters, and a rubber farm, or rubber tree farm rather, that's dumping into 2 crude storage units. This one's very full. So this is 2. I'll expand that at some point later, but for now it's plenty good enough. But what we're going to be doing next is building something very similar to this for our basalt. So I'll nip out and get all the blocks that we need, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, so we're going to be setting up something very similar to what we've got here. I think this one's probably full. Yep, this is pretty full. We'll have our lava, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Somewhere here. Let's place the ice down first, actually. So, ice here, lava goes here, and then ice here. And if our lava goes in the middle, boom. Okay, perfect. Then on top of this, we'll have our drills. So, drill, drill, drill. And actually, this will be simpler than this one because we don't need quite so complex a gearing setup. We can just run our cogs quite simply like that. Let's give it some blocks for the corners. Then we'll have our first water wheel. And then, doesn't matter which way the rotation goes, we'll have our next water wheel. Actually, it's night, but that's convenient as well because I have forgotten to grab shafts. So, we build out from the side of this, similar to what we have with the other one. Basically have something like this set up. I know it's not exactly the same because the other one's wider, but we don't need quite as much space for this one. This is how you know you're successful in Create, is when you start building things in Andesite. Because it's cheap to you now. You show that to anyone that's still in like early game, they'll be horrified. And I should really have turned this into framed glass like that, but I can't be bothered now. We're here. I think it still does tile anyway. Yeah, it does. Perfect. Or rather, it connects. There we go. And we need a layer more of this. Could do some split design like I've got over in this one, but I don't think I've got the blocks for it. No. Guess not. Okay, so one higher, because we don't have the gearing system, like I mentioned. And then let's put, okay, corner block. Should really have made that something cheaper than glass, but I suppose glass isn't really that expensive, so it's okay. Then a glass floor, seeing as we're feeling flush. Another bit of glass. Our second water wheel. And there we have it. Mine away. Now, because we don't have any space beneath these at the moment, they are just breaking exactly where they are, sitting exactly where they break. But we can dig this out just as we've done with the one over there. And as long as our tools don't break, we can start getting our basalt. Okay, and again, similarly, we will pop a block of glass beneath this, give us some light down here, so we don't need to use torches, but also stop the lava from pouring down and burning all of our lovely items. And just in the interest of keeping this simple, oh wow, it's 7 buckets. Must have picked up a few along the way. Just in the interest of keeping this simple, I will just use a water stream to move them all into the corner. So let's actually fill some of these sides back up. We've got the dirt that we used to mine this out. It's fine. Water here. And yeah, if we mine this corner one out, let's just mine this right the way down a bit. Perfect. And we've got any slabs on us? We don't, but we can always create one. So if we create some slabs like that, and then place a chute beneath there. A chute that I forgot to grab. Actually, do I even need a chute? I might be able to just run a, what should we call it? Mechanical press right there. That'd be nice if I can. So we'll definitely come back here, replace this with belts and things, but for now we just need a way to store that which we're getting that is workable. So chest, chute, we can see that's opened up, and compressed basalt is not what I was expecting to get from that. I was expecting that we would get, let's see, Polished. Why did that not give us polished basalt? I saw it in there. Or basalt, polished basalt. Maybe I have to set the recipe on this, because you can set the recipes on them. Let's try that. Go a bit lower. If I say polished basalt only, please. Let's start doing it. Yes, it does. Very nice. Perfect. And actually, if I pop this in here, it should give me it back. And we can use this to create more for us. Now, as I said, basalt is just one part of this, or the polished basalt rather. It's just one part of this. We do also need a way to get magma. But fortunately for that, that's something I can do off camera. We have an entire ocean over here, as you well know. And there will be plenty of magma blocks for me to pick up. You can see a few of them on the map at the moment. Alright, that's everything from me for this episode. I won't pester you to subscribe here, but do consider checking out my other videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one.